Hi there. So today I'm going to be interrupting our regularly scheduled programming around the chronic miasms to bring to you a video all about my intentions for 2021. So my name is Stacey and I'm a Heilkunst practitioner and creator of the Express Your Truth 8-Step Emotional Empowerment Program. And I want to talk to you about my intentions for 2021, which are all around deepening my skill set around boundary setting. And setting boundaries is something that I have struggled with my entire life and have been working on for quite a few years. But it's come to me recently that I need to deepen that. And so I would like to share that journey and also share what I've learned around boundary setting. So there are 3 reasons why people in general will struggle with boundary setting. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about those today. So I am a Phosphorus constitution, and if you want to know what Phosphorus constitutions are, you can check that out here. And Phosphorus constitutions are very sensitive constitutions, and we're very empathic. And so we can feel other people's emotions and what's going on for them very acutely. And before you start setting boundaries, you can take other people's stuff on so strongly that you have a hard time figuring out what's yours and what's somebody else's. And so that takes practice to learn how to do that for a Phosphorus. And not only that, we have our Staphylos sagria phenotype, which I've talked about in my phenotype series. If you want to know about that, you can check that out here. And Staphylos sagria occurs, we shift into that phenotype when we've had a lifetime of biting our tongues, suppressing our anger, suppressing our resentment, and also if we've had a history of abuse, whether physical or emotional, we can shift into that Staphylos sagria phenotype. And so the Staphylos sagria phenotype is terrified of confrontation, and so they will keep the peace at all costs. And so they're not going to be setting boundaries because they're not going to want to be rocking the boat. They want to keep everything nice and calm so that they don't have to be engaged in any type of confrontation. So there's that. There's also the carcinosin miasm that plays into this boundary setting issue. So I'm going to be talking about that in 2 weeks from now in my miasm series. So the carcinosin miasm is all about self-sacrificing. So doing things out of obligation, doing things because you feel like you should, and you feel like you're a bad person if you don't. And so it's doing things for everybody else before taking care of yourself. And so people who have a lot of inherited carcinosin will have trouble setting boundaries because they feel guilty. They feel like a bad person if they're not sacrificing themselves. And so there's those 3 aspects that can play into boundary setting issues. And so when I started my Heilkunst journey back 11 years ago or so, I'm a Phosphorus constitution, so I naturally struggle with setting boundaries. That's sort of a challenge that a Phosphorus constitution has. And also I had a ton of Staphylos sagria, so I was keeping the peace at all costs and not setting any boundaries for fear of confrontation. And I have a lot of inherited carcinosin coming from both sides. So boundary issues are something I've had to work very hard on, and I still struggle with it. And so I can struggle with it when you have a lot going on in your life, and you can start to forget to set those boundaries, and you have to remind yourself to set the boundaries because you start to fall back into old patterns. And so it's something for Phosphorus that they have to continually be aware of, but they can become very good at setting boundaries. And so I've worked very hard on those. But for 2021, I want to take that deeper. I feel like I've gotten to a point and I've stagnated, and I can take it a bit further. And there's been a lot of challenges coming up in my life to reflect that I need to work harder on setting boundaries. That's my challenge right now. And so, setting boundaries in my personal life as well as my professional life. And I know that I tend to attract Phosphorus constitutions who would struggle with boundary setting. And so while I undertake this journey of boundary setting, taking those boundary setting skills to the next level, I thought it would be great to support you in learning how to set boundaries as a Phosphorus or someone in a Staphylos sagria state or someone who has a lot of carcinosin or all of it. And I would like to share with you what I have learned over the years of starting to set boundaries. So once I'm done my miasm series in 4 weeks, I'm gonna start a series on boundary setting, and I'm really excited about that. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel and ring the little bell, and you'll get a notification when I put out my new videos. So I would love to hear from you around your challenges with setting boundaries, or what you've done in your life to really start setting boundaries. I'll see you next week, and I'll be talking about the Metarhinum miasm, and then we'll be talking about the carcinosin miasm, which I've already mentioned, and then we have 2 more miasms after that to complete, and then I will start the boundary setting series. All right, so but in the meantime, I would love to hear from you and hear your experience with setting boundaries. Have a great week.